Hi, this is Stacy Hernandez with the Best You College Admissions Consulting, the best college for the best you. I have David Keyek, one of the Best You college counselors, with us today.
Hi,
And
Stacy.
hi, and we're here to talk. We're here to kind of talk about developing your social network. And David is just such a pro at this. David has so much experience. He has over a decade of experience in the college admissions process, helping students through and families, and not only the students but the families through this college admissions process as a high school counselor and also as an independent college counselor. So he has a lot of experience. He also is a dad that has sent two kids to college, so he has a really amazing perspective about this and the developmental piece that happens with students at this age. And so we wanted to bring in some advice to parents. And so I'm going to pass it on to David, but I'm going to ask him some questions along the way.
Sure.
And really starting kind of with this whole developmental piece, like where are these high school students at developmentally and how it applies to the admissions process?
Well, I think I want to start off just saying thanks for having me, Stacy. And yes, indeed, I've had 23 years of watching people parent and also guiding people in sometimes their parenting challenges. And I feel like at this point in my career, and also as a parent, having an 18 and a 21-year-old, I actually have something to say about parenting. And I feel like I've got some ideas to pass on. So when it comes to that developmental piece, I think we know intuitively as parents what our kids need, that they need to break free, that is their single utmost important job as teenagers, is to bust free of the nest and become adults on their own. And yet they're in that push me, pull me place of like, they want to be little kids, they want to be taken care of. And they know they're in a lot of ways, for many of our students and our clients, especially right now for college counseling, they're dependent on their families, on their moms and their dads for college expenses, for advice, for love, for everything. Now, so we know that they want to break free. And yet as parents, we sometimes have a hard time, as the old books say, is letting go. No.
Absolutely. So it's this they are in this state of, it's natural for them to be expressing this, letting this independence piece. And I always say to families, we have this job because teenagers don't listen to their parents right now. And a lot of it has to do with that. Because a lot of times when I'm meeting with parents, I'm like, yeah, that's right on. That's right on. But bringing in a third party helps a lot. I mean, we also have a kind of a different expertise, and the advice we give is specific to college admissions, but a lot of time it's also just coaching them through those pieces that parents know how to manage as well. And so a lot of times getting that kind of that third party in can really help. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So talk to us more about this whole idea of developing a social network and why it's so important.
Sure.
And what does that look like for a teenager?
So for a teenager, I think we know that they've already built really strong skills with their families, with their peers, with their teachers, with maybe coaches, other mentors. But now it's that branching out time when they're getting their first jobs, they're getting their first internships, and we need to help them learn how to navigate those channels, whether that's conversations, interviews, emails, all of those really important social skills that are part of developing their social network that's going to help them be a happy, well-engaged, employed adult. Now, we have a lot to say about this because as parents, we've been doing this since we were whatever age, and we know that we know a lot, and we know that we know a lot more than them. And then we're also at this crux too, wherein the contradiction is our kids don't want to listen to us sometimes, and they don't want to take advice from their parents. So how do we impart our wisdom? Well, oftentimes through other people. And so that's part of our job as parents, is learning how to artfully connect our kids with whomever, whether that be aunts, uncles, grandparents, any kind of, your own peers at work and your own peers in the community. That's super, super important to learn how to do that. But it's also letting your kids do that on their own. So if it's just providing an email and a quick suggestion and then letting it go, great, that might be enough. They may need a hand with a phone call so you can kind of pave the way. They may not want that. So ask them, would you like that help? How would you like that help? Give them the power to help create that social network.
Awesome. How would you apply this specifically to them in their college admissions process? Like, is there particular
Sure.
people they should be connecting with, and how does this, overall apply?
Absolutely. I mean, that can range anywhere from their high school counselor to people like us, the private college admissions folks, to the college admissions representatives themselves. That's hugely important. Those admissions reps at the colleges and universities do not want to hear from parents.
Nope.
Sure, they're going to be nice and polite to you. You're their customer. They know your pain, but they want to engage with the students. Absolutely. And that may be something that you can help coach. You can say, hey, you've got this question. Why don't you shoot an email to this person? Why don't you shoot an email to that rep? Why don't you call that rep? And if they ask you to do it for them, as a parent, absolutely say no, say this is on you. They don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from the person going to college, because that's truly their customer and their clientele, even though a lot of times parents are paying a good portion of the bill.
Mm-hmm. And you can, as you said, sometimes you can gently tell them to do this. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they need that person like us saying those sort of things to them, and they listen a little bit more. Sometimes it's their high school counselor, it's their teacher or someone else that they may be listening to. Big older siblings, who've gone through the process.
I mean, and your child better than anybody, and you know what advice they're going to take and from whom they're going to take it. So when you're going and pushing too hard and providing advice. And you also, I think as parents, we have to know when we're sort of outside of our comfort zone and outside of our wheelhouse when it comes to guiding our kids on certain professions. If you don't know squat about a certain profession, don't go from your layperson's view and just spew what you know, because your kid's going to see right through that, because they've probably already heard that same amount of information somewhere else. Let them dig a little deeper, but maybe what you're going to do is help them find some resources. Shoot them a link about something you found, an article you found. That's the kind of thing that can help, is empower them to go out and find that information and not assume that you know everything about every profession under the sun. I think that's because, again, you want to come off as authentic, and you also don't want to give your own child too little or misinformation. What you may have known about law school and med school when you were in college 20 or 30 years ago may not be very applicable right now. The same goes with the admissions process. So a lot has changed in the last 30 years in terms of colleges and universities. So you need to, let your kids know that you're not the end all be all in terms of information.
Completely. Oh, thank you so much. This is wonderful. This is definitely something that when we work with families, we're constantly sharing this type of information with families. So we thank you, and we appreciate your perspective on this.
Absolutely.
Anything else you may want to say before?
No, that's it. That's it. Thanks so much, Stacy.
Thank you. And this is, again, Stacy and David from The Best You College Admissions Consulting, the best college for the best you. If you want to get a free introductory meeting with us, feel free to go on the website, thebestyou.net, the best you, you as in the letter U.net. Thanks.